My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is November 10th, 2024. It is 2:33 a.m. I don't know how I'm gonna start this video. I want to make a video to express my feelings about the election. I don't know how to start it, so I'm just gonna go about it, give myself work when it's time to edit the damn video. So what I did here, I didn't create any list for me to share with you regarding Harry and Meghan and things like that. I know majority of you are here for Harry and Meghan. But if you have been following me for a while since on Pure YT Entertainment, you know I've always said my purpose for creating the channels were for me to talk about politics. And then through that, I branch out seeing Harry and Meghan's debacle, and it brought new light. It's just so many things were happening, and I just couldn't understand. And I was documenting the process, and through documenting the process, some of you stumble on my channel, and I ended up talking about Harry and Meghan, go on Twitter and share things with you. And I'm still interested in the things that they do. I'm still into sharing their things, their journey, their work, especially their work, because they are two amazing people and it's worth sharing. But after the election, I don't know what came to me. Things were not feeling right. And it seems like a lot of people were feeling the same way too. Like I was saying at the beginning, I didn't create any list to share with you. Yesterday, I was going to record. The same way I'm talking here, don't know what to say. I was going to record something. And I felt like instead of recording, because I already know YouTube is suppressing my channel, my videos, it would be best for me to go on some of the videos and comment on them. So now that I feel like I should record, and I felt like I should read some of those comments that I put in those videos. I spent an hour and a half looking for those comments. I can't find them. Lucky for me, I had, I think these were the videos. I saved the links. I don't know why. Something tells me to save the links. These are the two videos that I commented on. I saved the links and I can't find them. I don't even want to go back to them. Then when I can't find them, instead I said, let me write my feelings, what I felt after the election, what I think it's happening or whatever. So, and then there are two articles that I've shared with you on my community board regarding voting and courts, the hearing and things like that. So I feel like I should read it since I cannot find my comment under the videos. Now, how do I start this? So these are the numbers of my channel. It's just for record purposes. On the day of the election, I did record something on, I believe it was, and I did share that with you right here. I recorded on November 5th. And then after that, I was not feeling aligned. I was not feeling mentally in a way where I could share my opinion with you. So on the 6th, I didn't record. On the 7th, I didn't record. On the 8th, I pushed myself to record something. And I think I even come back here. I don't remember exactly what I said in the video. I came back to this, what I'm sharing with you right now, to see when was the last time I recorded something. And then, because I was still feeling a little bit weird, not in whole. But on the 5th, the day of the election, in the morning, like around this time, 2 a.m., whatever, I was feeling optimism, knowing that, a new day lie ahead. And then after I record on the 5th, I went to take a shower, and I was trying to, I don't know if it's meditate. I was in the shower, but I closed my eyes, but it's weird. I don't know how to explain this, but the images that were coming were disturbing. It was chaos. There were faces that was popping up in my, as I closed my eyes. All this were happening in the shower, okay? And I just can't understand the images that I was seeing. And I felt confused. And I would say around 6 p.m., where we should start paying attention to the election and things like that. By the time we reached, I think they said Kamala was like 100 something and Trump passed 200 something. And then I start feeling drained, just drained. And I was like, how could this guy pass even 200? Just drained. I was feeling drained. And I never get back to that wholesome again until I pushed myself until the, when was that again? The last time I recorded, was it the 8th? The 8th. I have a video on that, whatever I said there. So today, I'm starting to understand the process, because many things that I've said in the past, I feel like there's some connection to them. I don't know why. Okay, this is pure opinion here, people. Okay, I don't have a crystal ball in front of me for me to predict anything or whatever. If I did know prediction, I will do it on myself. Do the lotto, go buy the lottery and win millions. I would have done that. I do not have. I'm just sharing my feeling with you. All of my videos are feeling, my opinion, and sometimes I back my opinion with certain things. I just feel like the funny thing is, of all things, sometimes yesterday or something like that, I'm hearing, you might say I'm crazy, but whatever, I'm hearing President Obama's voice telling me, Mitt Romney, please proceed.
I certainly do. I think it's interesting. The president just said something which is that on the day after the attack, he went in the Rose Garden and said that this was an act of terror. That's what I said. You said in the Rose Garden, the day after the attack, it was an act of terror. It was not a spontaneous demonstration. Is that what you're saying?
Please proceed, Governor.
I want to make sure we get that for the record, because it took the president 14 days before he called the attack in Benghazi an act of terror.
Get the transcript.
He did, in fact, sir. So let me call it an act of terror.
Can you say that a little louder, Candy?
He did call it an act of terror. It did as well take 2 weeks or so for the whole idea of there being a riot out there about this tape.
What I got from this, please proceed, I felt like as if either our current government right now knew, and there's a possibility they did know, because I have an article that I want to share with you. Was it this one? Voting expert warn of serious threats for 2024 from election equipment software breaches. That was December 5th, 2023. So when I'm hearing President Obama's voice saying, please proceed, I feel like our current government were fully aware of the possibility of what Trump will do. So whatever the result that we got from this election, I don't think, okay, again, please understand, this is my opinion. I'm just sharing with you my opinion. There is no facts to it, with the exception of what I'm going to be reading here to understand a little bit more, and I have shared this article with you, okay? I felt like in order for our current government to know the key players who are involved in trying to destroy democracy, which I have shared a very long time, even before Trump said the enemy within. I have shared that with you before, and I've shown you the video or movie, what do you call it? Something Olympus Has Fallen, I think. That's how I made the comparison. I have shared that thought with you a long time ago, way before Trump was saying the enemy within. So, with that being said, our current system, our current government knew what Trump might do in order for him to remove all of the debacle, the mess, the lawsuit that he's going through, to remove that. So I felt like they were watching him. This is another crazy thing that I saw as well. I saw, this was in my kitchen, almost the same area when I noticed that William was the one who was behind the debacle of Harry and Meghan. It's almost the same spot in my house that I was when I realized that. What I'm about to say is that I saw, it's like back in the old days. What movie can I, it's like, but let me explain the vision that I saw. It's like a group of people on a horse. There was a rush, like galloping in a rush to get to somewhere. And something was, they held something. It looks like the American flag. I don't know. Oh my God. I'm saying this. It sounds really ridiculous, to tell you the truth. But I saw it. I saw it. There was a rush. What I got with that was that in the background, I'm interpreting what I saw. Okay, it's like in the background, there is a rush to get to something. I don't know what is that something is, but it seems like the only thing I could explain or compare it with is as if they were in the battlefield, like back in the old days, on a horse fighting, but they were not, I guess they were fighting. They were rushing to get to somewhere. And I see this person with that shirt open on the horse, one hand holding the, how do you call this? The rope of the horse, and another hand has something else. It's not clear to me what's in the other hand that's not holding the rope. It seems like it could be, this is my interpretation, it could be the flag of the United States. I don't know. So there was a rush to get to somewhere. So that was a vision that I saw. So the way I interpret that vision is somewhere in the background. I think it was either, I would say Thursday or Friday, I would say I saw this. Because I was still down. But I'm trying to get back to a level of trying to forget what happened of the election. You know, if it is what it is, I'm trying to move on with my life or something like that. But this vision came to me, and it seems like something is happening. I interpret that vision as if there is something happening in the background. People's trying to, there's a rush to it, trying to get to the bottom of things. Okay, I explained the image, a group of people on a horse, but the person that was in the frame closer toward me, I'm watching as if it's a movie. Someone holding the horse, his shirt was halfway open, one hand on the horse, the other hand holding something. I cannot make what the other hand is holding, but I'm interpreting it as if it was a flag. There's a flag in his hand, rushing to get somewhere. So the only way I could explain this is what I've said already. Something is happening in the background. The government is not telling us, but they're rushing to get to it. The only way I could explain that is before January 20th. They need to get to the bottom of something. Okay? So I forgot to say that in the original recording. So let's get back to the original recording. Now, do they know, or are they looking for proof, or the current result of the election will stand? Because as far as I'm concerned, they are still counting. And I've shared with you on my community board. Let's see, do I have it open? Okay. Different things. You have mailbox being burnt. You have, let me see, where are they? Oh, I didn't have all of them all settled and a way for me to share with you one by one. Where is it? There's Elon Musk here. There's something. They probably wanted to know all the key players in order for them to show those MAGAs what they were voting against. Okay, there's this here with Mexico starting to deport Americans. All right, so this is the thing that I was looking for. Okay, so I've shared this with you 12 hours ago. All right, and I said I saw this on Twitter. I don't know the truth to it. Even if it was discovered by a GOP, it doesn't matter. I said that because some of the comments under the tweet was saying it was discovered by a GOP, so therefore it's not them or any GOP who have done it. The fact of the matter is that it was tampered with. I don't know. Important issue are not being discussed. Third image, so I'm focusing on something else. Okay, let's look at it. Can I click on it? All right, so there's a seal broken on 13 ballot tabulators, GOP observers say. Even if it's them who pointed out, it doesn't matter. The fact that it was tampered with. This is the key issue here. Okay, that's in Wisconsin. And what did I say here? Let me see if I could find this tweet, because my thing is not showing properly. Let me pause for a second. Okay, so this is the tweet here. This is where I got it. Okay, Trump won Wisconsin after a bunch of voting machines were broken into an urban Milwaukee. Trump won Wisconsin by 9,687 votes. Demand a hand recount and a forensic audit of the voting machine statewide. All right, so this is that. And okay, there's a thing here. I just saw it. Okay, the Republican and Donald Trump won Wisconsin by 30,000 votes. Subsequently, it was Republican poll watchers and monitors that reported this issue, and the votes have already been recounted. That fast? Remember, this is on Twitter, okay, with Elon Musk. Okay, so they're trying to debunk the thing here. So I'm just sharing with you. This is why I say I don't know the truth behind it. Okay, so that's that. 30,000 recounts, and then they quickly already recounted. All right, so that's one thing. And the other thing that I share with you on that community board is this. So Dems won at Dems meaning Democrats, won at every level in North Carolina, but not the President of the United States. And not a single Democrat in power has the guts to ask for a little look-see into that. Republicans are ruthless in attacking democracy, and Democrats are utterly toothless in defending it. For APTS reason, we worry way too much about how we look to the other side. They don't give a F how they look to us. Okay? So I don't know who is that. I saw it and I thought I'd share with you. It makes sense, but at the same time, like I was saying before, we do not know what's going on in the background. There's a possibility they knew with the amount of legal issues that Trump is in, they probably knew he will do something like that. Now, some of the things that I've said in the comments of those videos that I cannot find, I find the video, but I cannot find my comment, is that I talk about things that I shared these links, these two links. There's other things that I've said. While I gather my thought, let me read that article. Okay, voting expert warns of serious threats for 2024 from election equipment software breaches. That was December 5th, 2023. Atlanta AP, an effort to access voting system machines in several states and provide it to allies of former President Donald Trump as the sought out to overturn the result of the 2020 election has raised serious threats ahead of next year's presidential contest, according to a group of experts who urge federal agencies to investigate. Now, what I think happened since the last election when Trump was nagging left and right that the election was stolen, and you have those MAGAs who's going to the polls trying to get access to the voting machine. What they were doing at that time, in my humble opinion, is getting access to the brain of those voting machines, the chips, whatever, the electronic thing. I'm not a code person, so I don't know the terms. Whatever that plug in the voting machine with the internet, this is what they got, in my humble opinion. While Trump is making noise left and right,
so that I may talk, squirrel.
But his foot soldiers were doing that, getting the chips, getting access to the brain of the voting machines. Now that they got that, and you see, Trump even said it. We don't need to vote again. And he says something about my little secret, this and that. So he wasn't worried too much about the voting because he knew his people were gonna switch the numbers, in my humble opinion, if this is what happened. Okay, so with these voting machines that were working and they quickly counted really quick or whatever, and then we have fire being put into the mail-in ballot things. So there's a lot of discrepancies that's going on, and there are some numbers that are not matching with all of that. Okay? So now come this election, they already have the brain of the machine. His foot soldiers, Trump's foot soldiers, had already had access to it right after the 2020 election. Okay? So pretty much when I was really down, and I was trying to gather my thoughts and things like that, I had to write some stuff to some people, expert to who knows about that. But let's continue. Okay, the letter sent by nearly 24 computer scientists, election security expert, and voter advocacy organization asked for a federal probe and a risk assessment of voting machine use throughout the country, saying the software breaches have urgent implication for the 2024 election and beyond. That's right. Because if they don't take care of it now, right now, if this is not really nip it in the bud, you could still vote. I will never say don't vote. But they will do whatever they want, whoever they want to win to with that, because they have access to the brain of those machines. Okay? So this needs to be settled right away. And I think the reason the Biden administration just stay quiet, don't do anything. I'm sure there's stuff going on in the background, because if this was written in 2023 and they were aware of it, they must, and spew speculation, they must have left a trap for them. And this is why Biden stepped, one of many reasons, Biden stepped back. Don't participate in this election. And I think they just left a trap for Trump to see who are the key players and how they did that thing. And there's a possibility as well. They probably, whoever's doing the trapping, probably went to a judge, because in order for them to connect everything together to know the key players, they probably went to a judge and show the judge their reason for asking to do certain things. I don't want to say what I'm thinking, but they have to ask a judge to look at what they plan on doing and what are the possibilities of the election, so the judge could give the green light. They must have something before, let's say, the 2020 election, all the nonsense that Trump was saying, and then what the expert was telling them and what they hope to get out of it. So they probably brought all of these to a judge and said, look at this, we want to do this, but we need your approval to give us the green light to do certain things. That way, when it needs to be proven, they could plug everything together. This is what I'm thinking now. Now that I'm fully somewhat calm. There's one video that I did the thumbnails where I put a water. Let me see if I could find that thumbnails instead of me fully explaining things. It was this thumbnails. When I did this thumbnails, one of the things that I saw was that the world was coming into full-blown darkness. But something happened where a drop of water, and you see there's the White House in the middle. Okay, this is something that I did. What date do I have on it? I usually put the date. What date do I have on the video? Okay, 11/3. Okay, 2 days before the election. Okay, 2 days before the election. That is November 3rd. Okay, so I saw the world was coming to a darkness, and then with a drop of water, and you see the ring of water spilling, making that ring, and then it's like light coming, and you see in the thumbnail, this is what I was seeing, and I interpreted into the thumbnails. There's the White House in the middle. I don't know if anybody ever really looked deep into the video on the thumbnails. Okay, and then I put an image of Harry and Meghan because they were the light that many of us needed to sort of see the technique of the media. Okay, all this boiled down to the media. And I've shared with you, this is the technique that Kamala Harris was following, not dealing with the media at the beginning of her campaign. She went to the people. Okay? So this sort of boiled things down to. I don't know if I explain it. You see the light behind Harry and Meghan? This was the light that we needed in order for us to see what was going on. And then Kamala Harris, in my humble opinion, follow Harry and Meghan's technique, not dealing with the media at first. Went to the people, and then later on, once the people start knowing and understand her point of views, herself, who she is, then she start going to the media. Now with the MAGAs, with what is happening here, in order for them to understand things that Trump is lying to them, because they are a cult. They don't understand reality. They prefer fairy tale. They prefer entertainment, like Bojo's sister said.
I find it hard to see who is the winner here. We're going to see some sort of state regulation of the press. I genuinely hope not. I don't want the press to be in the last chance saloon at all. I want to see newspapers thrive. This is my industry, and I think it's in all our interests that we have a thrive. And we've got the most wonderful newspapers in the world in this country. You read the newspapers in the States or in France, they're very dull. They're not entertaining at all. I think that we can have both a serious and an entertaining press. And that's what I want to see survive. I don't want to see Prince Harry destroy the industry I love.
So in order for them to understand, because now there are some, how do you call this, employers who starting giving some MAGAs or Trump supporters, look, you're not going to get Christmas bonuses now because Trump wins. Therefore, we have to start pile up with our inventories, the money that the company was going to give them. Instead, they're using that money to pile inventories for tariff that's about to come. Tariff is tax, okay? Go watch. I don't want to get into the business aspect of things, the terminologies. Go watch some of Mark Cuban's videos, okay? Tariff is sort of a tax you pay on imports, things that's coming in. Not the other country is going to pay for it. So now those companies are saving up for those taxes instead of giving those bonuses to the people who their employees. So now that probably will hit them a little bit stronger to understand Trump was lying to them. Maybe this is why the trap was set and they let them go. President Obama said, please proceed to Mitt Romney in one of the presidential debate. Please proceed.
It was not a spontaneous
proceed.
demonstration. Is that what you're saying?
Please proceed, Governor.
I want to make sure we get that for the record, because it took the president 14 days before he called the attack in Benghazi an act of terror.
Get the transcript.
He did, in fact, sir. So let me call it an act of terror.
Can you say that a little louder, Candy?
He did call it an act of terror. It did as well take 2 weeks or so for the whole idea of there being a riot out there about this tape.
So the key players who's in the background investigating, setting the trap, let the system go. I'm not saying they manipulate the system for him. They just let it be. But they were preparing to see who will be involved, who are the key players, who's trying to topple democracy. This is what I'm getting now. Again, humble opinion, okay? And with this article, sort of gives me some sort of a confidence of what I'm feeling. All right, so this is where I left. The breaches affect voting equipment made by two companies that together count over 70% of the vote cast across the country, according to the letter. Quote, the multi-state effort to unlawfully obtain copies of voting system software poses serious threat to election security and national security and constitute a potential criminal conspiracy of enormous consequences. The group wrote in a letter sent to U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, Special Counsel Jack Smith, FBI Director Christopher Wray, and Jen Easterly, Director of the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Quote, we must protect our most sacred tenet of democracy, the security of our vote. Okay? The letter sent to the agencies later Monday was organized by the left-leaning group Free Speech for People, a nonprofit advocacy group focused on election and campaign finance reforms. The group also has filed challenges in a handful of states seeking to ban Trump from the ballot in 2024 under the insurrection clause of the 14th Amendment. The FBI Justice Department and Smith office declined comment. Yeah, obviously they can't comment on things like that because I'm sure they are preparing for what he will do. The Cybersecurity Agency did not immediately respond. Trump's loss in the 2020 election helped fuel unfounded conspiracy theories around voting machines that in turn led to threats against election workers, a push in many conservative counties to hand count ballots, and defamation lawsuit by companies that make the equipment. Authorities and some of the things that they're talking about, I think I raised them in some of my videos. Dominion sue Fox News because Fox News was going with the lies that Trump said, and there was none of that. So they sue Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, for defamation, and they won. And I don't know. I never followed. There was another suit. I don't know how it went. I didn't follow too much into it. Okay, and then the workers had to do with Giuliani, who defamed them, and that's in New York, and I think they won. And Giuliani supposed to, in my humble opinion, I think supposed to give up some of his assets, properties, so they could pay the workers, the two election workers. Okay, so that's what this is about. Okay, authorities in 3 states, Colorado, Georgia, and Michigan, have charged people in connection with breaches at local election office. Okay, these are the same states that has some issues right now. Okay, is Wisconsin there? Georgia? No, because the thing that I just showed you is in Wisconsin. And they said it's discovered by GOP. Like that's supposed to be something. Okay, the main thing is it was discovered. And then they said they quickly counted when we didn't hear much about that. Okay, the other thing that I see here as I'm editing and to look at which state he won and look on the screen, the screenshot that I have where I underline and highlighted where Trump sweeps all 7 swing states. With the amount of people that, claim, I'm assuming they're telling the truth because there's no reason to go on camera to lie to say you voted for Kamala because of, whatever reason that they had. This is what happened when you give them the key to the voting booth. They're too greedy. There is absolutely no way that he could win all 7 swing states, especially Pennsylvania. I could understand the rural areas, whatever, but where there's majority of African American, all right, it's not easily you could dupe all African American. You will get some because from what I understand, there are some black men who voted for him, but you're not gonna get the majority of them. Okay, so the greed, the whatever that goes in their head, I guess they felt like they felt like they're in control, or just because some people stay quiet, just watching what they would do. Okay, meanwhile they're monitoring them to see if they're gonna fall for it. This is what I think. If they, the feds or whatever. Again, this is full opinion. Okay, I'm not saying this is a fact. But to see the greed there for Trump to sweep all 7 swing states, when many of the people go on TikTok or any social media, letting people know who they voted for. There's some who block certain areas of their voting thing and show that who they voted for. And there's some who cry afterward when they get home. They said they voted for Kamala. They never felt certain way before. And then after the election, when the result come and they say he won, the majority of people had the same feeling of despair and like what happened. And then we saw all the destruction of voting booth or the ballot boxes and all of that. So the greed is so humongous, and I'm hoping whatever it is that I'm sharing with you, my thought, I'm hoping I'm right. Because there is no way he's going to sweep all 7 states. This is greed. This is greed because he has the key. And, with the crowd size, the kind of thing that, that really blow up his head, that really gets him. This is why he did that. And this is how they're going to catch him, I think, in my humble opinion. Too much greed. He wants to show that a lot of people like him. When after the election, majority of people feel almost exactly the same way. And when I go on Twitter and I see people are upset, I can understand, blaming, pointing finger. For some reason, this time, I think majority of white women did the right thing this time. I think, in my humble opinion. So let's get back to the original recording. But there has been no public indication of a federal probe. They're not going to tell you if they're going to do it. Then, if they say it, Trump and his people will not do what they say. So they just let them be. Okay, this is a democracy. There's a limit to democracy. Okay, respect others. There are rules of laws that protect people's boundaries. So if, the government go and say, oh, we're doing an investigation, guess what? Or we're setting a trap or something like that. You think Trump will do it? Maybe he will because he's dumb as F. The key players will not play a part of it. So I think they're rounding up all the key players who's trying to topple democracy. In my humble opinion, the letter sent this week outlined what is known publicly about the effort to access those voting machines, which began in the week after the November 3rd, 2020 presidential election won by Democrat Joe Biden. Some of the things that I've said before, I didn't even realize this article until maybe 2 days ago. The day that I share it with you on my community board, that's the day that I found it. I came across it. But the thing is that some of the things that Trump have been saying throughout, okay, since he became president. And one of the things that popped up in my mind when he became president, and I was like, oh my God, of all things, he wants to be in this, and the government is gonna want to know everything about you. But he never really said anything anyway, so I don't know how that went. But the thing is that with him saying all of his BS, file different lawsuits of different things within our laws. In a way, it is very scary. I'm telling you, it is very scary when you live in a country like that where this person is attacking the things that you abide by that keeps people somewhat in line. Okay? Meaning that there are rule of law, you respect it so you don't, cross somebody else's boundaries, this type of things. This is why laws are there. Yes, it's a free speech, but there's a limit to it, of everything. But what he was doing were very scary, but at the same time, I hate to say this, and I might have said it in some of my videos, especially the one when the Supreme Court struck down Roe versus Wade, and I was like, at least this is something, every loophole for the Roe versus Wade, and I was like, at least it will get women to vote now, especially white women, because many of them usually vote against their best interests. That's one thing that I got out of Roe versus Wade being struck down. And I was like, at least some women who have their head in their shoulders will see that, stop voting against your best interests. But with the things that Trump was doing, and unfortunately, back to Roe versus Wade, some women have lost their lives when they didn't have to. And we've heard about it when at the town hall meeting that Oprah did with Kamala Harris. Some of the names, the women who died, some procedures that could have been prevented. But back to Trump with attacking our democracy, is that it opened the door, the hole that are within our laws, our sacred democracy. It opens it up to say, we need to fix that. So it wasn't as bad as it is. Unfortunately, some people have already lost their lives. Let's look at COVID and Roe versus Wade and so many other things, the guns and all of that. But with some of the things he was attacking, huge if, we surpass, well, we just had an election, but if we remain fighting, because we have now the next loophole, the next hurdle is January, is it 20th? That when they do the inauguration, okay, we have until this date for the current administration to do its thing to fix things up. Okay, but for Trump winning first, if with everything that I've said, if our current government allowed or set the trap or let things be so they could monitor who are the key players, if they get what they wanted, pretty much the election that just happened where Trump already claimed he won, and it opened doors to some of the MAGAs to understand what was at stake, to open their eyes. And now with all of the crazy nonsense lawsuit Trump keeps on filing and all of that, it opened the door to fix our current system. That's what I see with Trump's all those nonsense. If, again, that is if we go back to normal, the current administration fix what Trump has done and they prove it. The key thing is we cannot move forward if they cannot prove it. They have to prove it. Joe Biden's administration have to prove what was done in order for us to fix the debacle and arrest some of the people who try to topple democracy. Where, what's the movie again? Olympus Has Fallen. They were trying to destroy the country from within. So this is our last hope. And people need to stay engaged if we jump this hurdle. This is a huge hurdle. We have what? Maybe not even a month. Yeah, we do have a month. We're in November, right? November, December, like a month and a half or so. Okay? To get this right. So people need to be engaged. Whichever way you feel like you should engage. Because if power is handed to him, to Trump, he will put his people and do some crazy stuff. Point that I was making is that if leading to the election, the feds, the government was monitoring all the key players they assume will be involving and trying to steal the election. They were monitoring them. If I am right about this, and then the feds does its investigation and connects the dot and file a lawsuit and claim that this election was stolen, maybe, okay, this is the part I probably didn't explain very well, that I don't think they put any trap. There's no trap. They just leave everything as is. The way things should be moving forward, they just leave it as is. But knowing that they will try to steal the election, they're keeping an eye on them without saying a thing. And then seeing ballot box burning. We're seeing ballot where you go vote were tampered with, and so many other things, probably things I'm not even aware of. And then for him to sweep all 7 states. So all of this, okay, knowing how he is, not everybody was for all of that, even though you see his MAGA people were, as we get closer toward the election, his things were, less people were getting involved with his thing. And then we had record number of people voting and all of that. So the Fed were probably monitoring. They just let everything play out. Like nothing is happening. They just leave it alone, let the criminals act, and then monitor them. And now, after the election, now they go and investigate, or whatever it is, okay? I don't think they set any trap. If they set trap, then Trump will win this. They just have to sit back and watch, okay? Without pressuring anybody. Because what I think the Trump people have is that because they have people from the inside, they have some crazy... I don't know what kind of lawyers they have. Look at Giuliani, who was a mayor, and all of that fall into the BS. So they just let everybody do their part without interfering with their criminal activities. And then now their time is very limited. Who's them? Meaning that the feds, the government, their time is very limited to prove their case, to say this election is bogus. He did not win the election. Okay, so there's no trap. There is just letting people be because they feel so comfortable because nobody's stopping them. The only thing that he was dealing with was Jack Smith and the thing in Washington, and he got his the judge in Florida to toss out this thing. So the Fed are just watching key players, just key players like the judge in Florida. If the Fed are able. All this has to do with my opinion. If I am right, that judge is in trouble. Okay? Because these are real documents, secret documents that Trump should have been prosecuted. She tossed the case out. Okay? But other things, so pretty much the Fed just let it be. Stay normal, quiet, just watch. Watch criminal act. That's what I mean by that. Okay, so let's get back to the original recording. Okay, let's get back to that. Okay, it cites a December 18, 2020 meeting in the Oval Office in which Trump allies, including lawyers Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani, discussed a desire to access voting machine. There it is here. And presidential swing state Trump lost, according to congressional testimony. It also details subsequent effort to secure that access. When I used to pray for foot soldiers, go back to some of my old videos, starting from PYTE and then this channel. I used to put a lot of prayers for foot soldiers. These are the people who will go out and carry out his work for them. Whichever foot soldiers I was talking about, even for the Sussexes as well. Okay, I don't want to go too deep into their things right now. All right, the foot soldiers that I was talking about were, when I pray for them, was for them to have a mind of their own, to be able to be aware that what they sending them out to do was wrong, so they could have a mind of their own. These were the reasons I used to pray for foot soldiers, to not carry out certain acts of violence, acts of deception, acts to topple democracy, to hurt other people and all of that. For them to have a mind of their own, to say they're not gonna do that. And I think some of my prayers have been answered. So when I was praying for those foot soldiers, these are the information that came out of it. Let's continue. Powell, Giuliani, and Trump were among 19 people charged this summer in Fulton County, Georgia, where state prosecutors have alleged they were part of a conspiracy to overturn Trump's laws in the state. That include the unauthorized breach of voting system in rural Coffee County, Georgia. So the brain of our voice, which is the voting machines, this is what they were doing. Trump was making noise, distraction. Okay, that's what it was. The squirrel with all this nonsense. Meanwhile, the foot soldiers were doing their thing. All right, let's continue. Powell has since pleaded guilty to reduced charges and has agreed to testify against her co-defendants. Prosecutors allege she had conspired with others to access election equipment without authorization in the county and hire a computer forensics firm to copy software and data from voting machines and computers. Wow. The letter to federal officials cites various documents and news reports to highlight potential connection between Powell and 3 people charged in a similar effort in Michigan, where state prosecutors allege there was unauthorized access to ballot tabulators in 3 counties. Powell has not been charged in the Michigan case. In addition to Georgia and Michigan, the letter mentioned voting system breaches or attempts to access voting-related system in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Nevada, and Colorado, as well as various individuals involved in the efforts. It stresses that possessions of voting system software could enable people with ill intent to practice how to meddle in the 2024 election, allowing them to identify vulnerabilities and test potential attacks. And they could use their knowledge, that's a quote by the way, and they could use their knowledge of the software to fabricate evidence of stolen votes, either for disinformation or to challenge election results, the letter said. In Colorado, former Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters has pleaded not guilty to state charges alleging she was part of a deceptive scheme to provide unauthorized access to the county's voting system during a May 2021 breach that eventually resulted in a copy of the voting system hard drive being posted online. What? Peters, whose trial is scheduled for the next year, has said she had the authority to investigate concerns that the voting equipment had been manipulated. She has appeared at several events with My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell, a Trump ally who has promoted election conspiracy theories. Federal authorities have been involved in the Colorado case, but the extent of any investigation is unknown. They're not gonna tell you. In September 2022, Lindell said he received a subpoena from a federal grand jury investigating the breach in Colorado and was ordered to hand over his cell phone to FBI agents. Very interesting. In the Michigan case, a special prosecutor said local clerks who turned over the ballot tabulators and others who analyzed the equipment were deceived by some of the charged defendants. They have not been charged. Among the 22 people who signed the letter to the federal agencies was Douglas W. Jones, a computer scientist who said the effects of the various breaches were not limited to the local election offices where they occurred, because the voting system software involved is used by many offices across the country. Yeah. Wow. The letter says those involved access equipment made by two of the leading manufacturers, Dominion Voting System and Elections System and Software. Quote, in 2024, no matter which way the election goes, election deniers on one side or the other could easily grasp on the breaches following the 2020 election and suggest that those breaches allowed the 2024 result to be cooked, he said. One of the things that I've said in some of those comments is that some of the GOPs, what they did, and I think is the next tweet, where they wanted on election day for the votes to be hand counted, and then the judge said no, he doesn't want that. Let the machine do its thing, which is pretty much what any well-minded people would agree to, because you don't want those people's hand go taint the result. So they want first to do that. But the reason that they did that, to ask before the election for it to be counted by hand, is that because once they switch the number, allegedly, if they switch the number by manipulating the system, is that now Democrats cannot file a lawsuit to say they need to do the hand counting. So therefore, they will go back to their lawsuit saying that the judge said, no, you can't recount, but you can count by hand or something like that. Okay, I said something in that nature in one of the comments. All right, so I'll come back to this, but let's finish this first. All right. So pretty much is almost done. Election technology expert Kevin Skoglund, sorry if I pronounce it wrong, Skoglund, who also signed the letter, said a federal probe was necessary because many of those involved have not been investigated or been asked to give up their copies of the election software. I mean, there's probably multiple copies already. I think what needs to be done, if they could prove it, if the Biden administration can prove it, is pretty much to start brand new. They have to start brand new. They cannot use that anymore. Because if they have a copy of this, so too many things. I'm not in the coding thing, but I could see things can be, it's not the same anymore. Let's continue. Okay, every software copy that is reclaimed reduces the risk of further distribution, disinformation, and harm to the security of future elections. That's what I think too. Skoglund said, there should be consequences for widely sharing parts of our national critical infrastructure, or others will be encouraged to repeat these schemes. Yeah, definitely. They need to, if before Biden leave, if they don't fix that now, we are doomed. We could still go vote, but if they have the software, pretty much the brain of our voice, okay, they could change it any way they want. So this is the other, this one is a bit more recent. It was October 15, okay, a month or so. Georgia judge blacks ballot counting rules and say county officials must certify election result. Okay, I may not read all of it. It's not that long. Let's see here. This is where I said they did that. The GOP went first to ask the judge for it to be counted by hand. That way, they already knew the judge would say no. But they wanted the judge ruling. That way, once they change the numbers, Democrat cannot call out foul and said, now we need to count by hand. That's the way that I saw this. Okay. Atlanta, a judge has blocked a new rule that requires Georgia election day ballot to be counted by hand after the close of voting. The ruling came a day after the same judge ruled that county election officials must certify election result by the deadline set in law. The state election board last month passed a rule requiring that 3 poll workers each count the paper ballot, not votes, by hand after the poll closed. The county election board in Cobb County, an Atlanta suburb, had filed a lawsuit seeking to have a judge declare that rule and 5 other recently passed by the state board invalid, saying they exceed the state's board's authority weren't adopted in compliance with the law and are unreasonable. In a ruling late Tuesday, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney wrote that the so-called hand count rule, quote, is too much too late, and blocked its enforcement while he considers the merit of the case. McBurney on Monday had ruled in a separate case that, quote, no election superintendent or member of a board of election and registration may refuse to certify or obtain from certifying election results under any circumstances, while they are entitled to inspect the conduct of an election and to review related documents, he wrote. Any delay in receiving such information is not a basis for refusing to certify the election result or abstaining from doing so. Georgia law says county election superintendent, generally multi-member board, shall certify election result by 5 p.m. on the Monday after an election or the Tuesday if Friday is a holiday, as it is this year. Okay, so we shall see. All right, so the judge stayed within the ruling. So pretty much, yeah, I think we need to wait and see what happened. And for the MAGAs who voted against their best interest, and I'm hearing there are some of them who are now, after the election, this is the thing with these people. After the election, this is when they are looking for or searching what tariff is. Of all things, they're searching for what is tariff. But I think what just happened here, where there's a possibility Trump may not be the winner, if there is an investigation with all those broken ballots, poll areas, the burning of mailbox and all of that, if there is a redo or Biden administration can prove that there was fraud, because if there is a fraud, that way that thing could redo. There will be a reset kind of thing. But the thing is that with the universe, I don't know if anybody felt the same way. After the election, when people know that Trump won, there's a collective feeling of despair, of like, oh my God, how could this guy win? So a lot of people were feeling almost the same way. So, which means our feeling does have something to, it matters. It means there's something fishy going on. Yes, MAGAs will be MAGAs. They will enjoy it. They will cheer. But now that they're starting to wake up from their hypnotism, now they know that they're not going to get bonuses. Now they know, now they're searching when they should have done, when the moment Trump mentioned tariff, they should do the research of it to understand it. But after the election, now that they know it's gonna come from their pocket to pay the tax of anything that is being imported here, and maybe that's what they needed to understand. Like I've always said, in order for you to understand it, you have to go through it. But thank God, knock on wood, because Biden is still president, and let's hope what I'm feeling is correct. There's investigation and he's able to prove it and whatever. But knock on wood, we jumped this hurdle. At least these people who were voting against their best interests, there are videos of Hispanic who literally were immigrant themselves. I just cannot fathom this. Who were immigrant themselves. After the, all these, especially African American, with their fighting, trying to preserve human right, human dignity, lay out the red carpet for them. Like on one of my old videos, I was so, I spoke about someone, a British actress. I don't remember her name. Okay, they lay out the red carpet for them. And now they passed through the red carpet. What they did, they're turning around and roll it back. And they're not letting others to come in. This is the thing I don't understand. Let me see if I could find that video. Because I think okay, so this is a video here. I'm going to have to, it's right here. It's this one. but I'm going to read my comment on the side. Okay, Latino voters, this is one of the comments that I responded to. Latino voters on why they supported Trump. And there's me here putting LOL. Listening to these immigrants, I'm just LOL. Okay. All right, there was another video here. Okay. One of many, is that one of my comments? No, the other comments were much longer. But the ones that I was looking at the beginning of this video to share with you, there were links of those articles that I just read. I can't find it. All right, so there's another video, and it's this. Is it this one? Let's see if I find it. Okay, never mind. All right, it says here, okay, MAGA leaders declare war on each other after election. And I respond to that and I say, nah, the UK system already has the blueprint of what's ahead. The quote, end fight, end quote, they are talking about is called distraction. Distraction from what Trump will actually be doing. Well, pretty much nothing, because the MAGA Project 25 creators will be handling the policies. They just need Trump's signature. While different cabinet officials or people within the Trump team creating noises, distraction, entertainment for news outlets to talk about daily, the real work will be carrying out. Trump will be playing golf daily. MAGA Project 25 will be in the office running things. Anyone who gets in their way or they have any issues with, they'll tell Trump, call on orders. Then we'll start seeing people flying out of the window. Out of windows. I'm laughing, but it's sad. The blueprint is there. I've seen it already. Good luck, America. Okay, so that was 19 hours ago. And someone replied and said, American here, and you nailed it. Even people on our side are blind to what's really going on. Okay, so this is where we are. You have immigrants voting against their best interests. And this is there's another video that I was watching, and this guy was explaining what tariff is. Just there's the title here. You guys could go and search for it and listen to it, because YouTube is gonna block me, and then I'm just gonna give myself more work. All right. So these are things that I watched recently. Republican election scheme accidentally exposed on Fox. Okay. I started listening and I didn't finish. You see where the red mark is, and there's this here. And one of the videos, I said that we need to thank Mark Cuban, one of the regular American, a businessman, okay, who didn't see only money and saw the danger ahead of us. And he went to many different outlets, and I've shared some of them with you, to warn us and explain to us what tariff is. But the MAGAs still vote against their best interest. There's this one here, this guy, who's in with the red hat here. Okay, he sells t-shirts or whatever, thinking he's a business. These are, I don't want to say bad, negative things, but who did not go to school to understand the technical aspect of business? Now, this guy is a Trump supporter. Go watch that video. There's all those videos, titles here. You go watch it. Okay, and I think I came across that video of him on Twitter too. Who in this video they're explaining to him what tariff is, and he's arguing with the guy and said, no, it's the other country that have to pay the tax. And the guy is explaining to him, no, it's when the thing comes in, and then you go to Border Patrol, whatever they call it, custom, and then you have to pick it up. This is where the tax is gonna be. And now, how, as a business person who you purchase it from, let's say China, for instance, you need to make a profit somewhere. Who's gonna give you that profit? The customers. So you're gonna shift that thing to the customers, the tax to the customers. And the guy who was talking with him, I guess had enough with him, couldn't get through with him, and called someone else to explain to him what tariff is. And then that's when he finally got it. I mean, if you're voting just based on money, it's really sad. Okay? It's really sad. And this is why Trump didn't bother explaining his, how do you call this? His plan. There was no reason for it. If he could change the numbers any way he wants, why bother Don't even do a second debate with Kamala Harris. Why bother explaining your plan when you already know you win? And it's not like he's hiding it. He told us. All right, so that's that. I don't know if I expressed all of my feeling thoroughly, but let's just hope if what I'm feeling is what is happening in the background, investigation, and they could prove it, and we could jump that hurdle and bring all the key players. Because I feel like this is where they could get all of the bad guys, whoever's behind trying to topple democracy. And the other thing as well, I'm glad that I didn't stop the recording. If you pay attention with what's going on with the war of Russia and Ukraine, even though Biden is giving Ukraine help, ammunition, or whatever, one of the things he's holding back, okay, because he does not, because how do you call it? Putin already said if one of those American ammunition, whatever you call it. I'm not in the army to know all the technical. Let's say a bullet, okay? Let's just say a bullet, but it's much more than that. Could be a bomb or something. If it's from America, for him, he claimed that's, what do you call him? Putin. He claimed that would be like declaring war or something like that. So Biden is holding back, giving other necessary I think it's called long-range missile. That's what it is. I think it is. Whoever is following this more, you could correct me on all those terminologies. So I think it's long-range missile that could go further than where Ukraine wants to hit. Okay, so Biden is telling Ukraine to not use this type of missile because they're trying to prevent war. Okay, but meanwhile, I think if they prove that Russia interfere in our democracy and other key players interfere in our democracy, Biden, whoever is next, if they could prove it, the key thing here is to prove it and then fix it so it doesn't happen again. Well, who knows? It might happen again because if it's happened from within. But if you grab all the bad guys who's trying to topple democracy, you get all the Americans who's within, the enemy within, you grab them, gel them, and do what needs to be done or whatever. Okay? And then the foreign interference. This is where the next administration gonna tell Ukraine, do what you need to do to win the war. Now, when it comes with Palestinian, one thing that I remember saying to myself once I was aware that Trump won, I did a small prayer to myself and I apologized to the Palestinian, those who sacrificed their life, because I've always felt what's happening in the Middle East was a sacrifice. And you know, if you're a Christian, you say Jesus died for you and all of that. And I felt like some of the Palestinians who die, they die for Americans. Okay, it may sound crazy. Yes, I say it and it sounds crazy. But the way that I see it, I just felt like they risk their well-being for us. And this is why Biden, in my humble opinion, had to remove himself from the election, take all of the burden with him. So that way, Kamala Harris could be clean slate. That won't be, I'm talking as if Kamala Harris won, but there's a lot of hurdles ahead. Again, all this that I'm talking about are pure speculation. I'm thinking as if it is happening. I don't know if it's happening, okay? I do not know if it is happening. But as I'm saying it, I'm thinking as if this is exactly what's happening. I don't know. But all I know is, which is a fact, that Biden is still the president. And there's he still has a lot of power. So if what I've shared with you is what it is, and we know all the key players, we know all the adversaries of America who participate in toppling America, then this is where things will shift. Okay? So now I feel a bit calmer in a way. I guess my anxiety will start again if what I'm saying doesn't happen and comes to January 2025 happen, and then we have this guy as president. Then I'm sorry. I truly believe decent Americans, even some Republicans, some white women, I see a lot of finger pointing. I truly believe many Americans did vote the right way. It's just that the machine, the votes were tampered with. There's one video here. It's kind of funny, but I understand him. Where is he? Not this. Him. Okay, I need to share that. I agree with him 100%. Black people have shown so many. They go through so much to show you. But you don't listen. In order for you, who never went through what some African American have gone through, you have to go through it. However, what I think is happening here, there is a pause. It gives you a glimpse of what could have been, because now they're realizing they were lied to. This is what I'm thinking. Again, please consider this as a warning. It's my humble opinion. They are not fact. Okay? I feel like that quick victory of Trump, it's like now they're searching what is tariff, what are some of the lies that Trump was doing. It's after the fact, after the election, they're searching for that. So it seems like that quick victory that they got, and many of them are regretting their vote, they had to go to that quick realization of, oh my God, how did I F myself up by voting for this guy? But if Biden administration prove it was tampered with, people were lied to, there were all sort of things, at least we jumped this hurdle. We don't have to go to a Trump presidency again. But let's listen to him. I just found out he has a YouTube channel. I just subscribed to him with APTS Sussex. Once on PYTE, I want PYTE to subscribe to him because he's spot on. He's always spot on. But he uses a lot of F words. There's one of his videos that I have about the white woman. Why the F this? F. Oh my God. But I use it in some of my videos because he is right. He is 100% right. And I'm sure there's going to be F words here. I listened to it already, but I forgot some of the things that he said. Black people can, but we won't. All right? So let's listen. 2 minutes and 31 seconds. There'll be screenshots.
Y'all, these people think that black people are playing. They think this is a trend. No, this is the end. Okay, it's over. We're done with. We're done. You guys are cooked, and you're cooked alone. You're by your fucking selves. When Trump is inaugurated on January 20th, we will not be on the fucking front lines of anything. You might have some black pick-me people might go over there and protest with you, but I know my black ass won't. I will not. Okay, I just researched it and I found out that I can. I Googled it and I found out that I can. No, I've looked into it and I found out that I can.
Oh my God. I search into it. I found out that I can't. I Google it. I like him so much as a creator. He's very good telling the truth. A hard truth, okay?
I can't because you didn't have our fucking backs. You know, allyship is transactional. When I have your back, you have mine. Okay, that's how it works. It's transactional. It's reciprocal. Okay, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You didn't scratch our backs. You didn't have our backs. You left us fucking behind, and you left us fucking for granted. You left us on the battlefield by our fucking selves.
That's true.
So now, deal with the consequences of your fucking actions. Don't ask me for shit. Don't ask me to protest. Don't ask me to petition. Don't ask me to do a motherfucking thing. But mind my own black business. Okay, y'all played in our fucking face. Y'all pretended like y'all cared about black lives. And the sad thing about it is, it wasn't like we weren't gonna hold Kamala accountable.
That's true.
We said that if we elect Kamala Harris, we will hold her accountable and we will try to do our best and our damnness to try to get a ceasefire. Even Kamala Harris agreed on a ceasefire and a two-state solution, and that still wasn't enough for you. Trump did not believe in any of these things. So whatever happens, happens. It's not that black people won't have empathy. It's not that black people won't feel bad for you. But the sad thing is, you might have to hurt in order to actually understand it. You might have to feel it to understand it. And the sad thing about it,
that's the thing I keep on saying. You have to, in order for them to understand, they have to go through it. I've been saying this very long time. Not just this video, many other videos. He is spot on. Let me move it back slightly. By the way, that will be a screenshot, okay?
empathy. It's not that black people won't feel bad for you. But the sad thing is, you might have to hurt in order to actually understand it. You might have to feel it to understand it. And the sad thing about it is, black people aren't wishing harm on anybody. We were trying to stop you from being subjected to the violence that we're subjected to every fucking day of our damn lives. This is nothing new to us. You didn't hurt us. You hurt your own fucking self. And that's the part that you don't understand. We loved you enough to tell you we don't want to see you go through what we go through every day on a daily fucking basis. But yet you did not want to listen. You didn't want to listen. We tried to help you. That's the part that you don't understand. We loved you enough so that you wouldn't have to go through what we go through on a daily basis. We tried to warn you. Now you have to reap what the you sowed. And for any pick-me motherfucking black person that wants to stitch this fucking video, you pick-me ass bitch. Shut the up. If you want to take your ass on the front line, you do that. But you are not going to guilt trip my black ass on no battlefield to die for somebody who did not want to do the bare minimum, which was free, was vote for Kamala Harris. Don't ask me to do shit. You.
I hate to say, he is absolutely spot on. And I've said it in other videos where this British actress came and then I forgot the issues with her. I think she was in one of Tom Cruise movies. And I forgot all the issues, but I remember the thumbnails where I put a red carpet. You have all those black actors and actresses who set the foundation for her to be in, cinematic kind of thing in America. But whatever she had said at that time, and I was very upset about it. And at the same time, I didn't know she was black. For some reason, I thought she was Asian. Of all things, I don't know why. But I find out that she's half British and half either her mother or father from Africa, somewhere in Africa. So this is the thing here. All right. So what else do I have before I finish? Okay, these are things. Let me
people
pause.
think the black people are playing.
These are other things I will do in another video. I have things to share with you without the in regard to Harry, especially Harry, who was at the Tillman Gala. I've shared on my community board on our part of Pew Service. You have to follow me on all 3 channels. So this, I did not put it on this channel, on my community board. I put it on our part of Pew Service. This is where I talk about Harry's work. So that's where I put it. Okay, so there's other things. There was something I saw about, here, Scotland. All right, this is brutal. Scotland not missing their words. David Lammy has nothing on this guy on describing Donald Trump. This is not diplomacy, it's honesty. All right, so let me go into it so it could be bigger. Okay, MAGA, the world loves Donald Trump. Scotland, congratulations to the convicted felon Donald Trump. So it's 47 seconds, okay? Screenshot, obviously. Let's listen.
Minister offered congratulations to the convicted felon Donald Trump on his re-election. Writing officially on behalf of the Scottish Government, he wrote that he is sure Scotland's cultural and social ties with the US will flourish during the presidency of a misogynist, a climate denier, a fraudster, a conspiracy monger, a racist, a far-right politician who tried to overturn an election result both covertly and by inciting violence. Words fail me. What social and cultural ties does the First Minister really think will benefit from a relationship with such a man?
Wow. Okay, so that's that. Thank you for watching. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share, and help support my channel. If you could donate to PayPal and Cash App, and some of you have done, and I truly appreciate it. And YouTube suppressed my channel, and you see at the beginning of this video, I tried to look for a comment. It could have been 2 or 3 videos that I commented on that explain what I saw was happening. They're not there. If I come across it, I will share them with you. But I spent like an hour and a half looking for them. I can't find it. So I gave up and just did this video like that. Okay, when I do feel like I could get back into Harry and Meghan, I will do another video. Definitely not tonight. I need to edit this to share with you. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.